Welcome to my channel Rare Old Coin Value, your ultimate destination for rare and valuable coins from around the globe. Here, we explore the hidden history, design secrets, and real value behind every coin, from ancient treasures to modern collectibles. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, because every coin has a story, and we're here to tell it. Stay tuned and let's dive into the fascinating world of coins. The United States of America Washington quarter dollar dated 1968 is one of the most historically important circulation coins of the 20th century because it represents the first regular issue quarter struck after the complete removal of silver from U.S. circulating coinage, a change that permanently transformed American money, collecting habits, and public psychology toward coins, issued during the turbulent era of the late 1960s, marked by the Vietnam War, civil rights movement, Cold War tensions, and massive economic change. The 1968 quarter reflects not only a shift in metallic composition but also a turning point in how Americans viewed the value and purpose of everyday currency, as this coin was struck in copper-nickel clad rather than the 90% silver used from 1932 through 1964, and therefore it carries both deep historical importance and powerful symbolic meaning as the first year the quarter resumed production after the two-year suspension in 1965–1967 to discourage hoarding during the silver shortage. The 1968 Washington quarter continues the long-running Washington design first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, featuring on the obverse a left-facing portrait of Washington modeled by sculptor John Flanagan, with the inscriptions, "Liberty," at the top, "In God We Trust," to the left of Washington's neck, and the date, 1968, to the right, while the reverse displays a heraldic bald eagle with wings outstretched, clutching a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength and military readiness, beneath which rests a pair of olive branches signifying peace, with the inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," above and "quarter dollar" below. This classic design would remain in use until 1998 when the state quarters program began. The coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a clad composition of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, which gives a distinctive copper-colored edge when viewed from the side, a feature that immediately distinguishes it from earlier silver quarters whose edges are silver throughout, and the coin has a reeded edge with 119 reeds, maintaining the traditional anti-counterfeiting measure used on U.S. silver coinage for centuries. In 1968, quarters were struck at 3 mints: the Philadelphia Mint, no mintmark, with a massive production of approximately 101,534,000 coins; the Denver Mint D, mintmark, with about 193,393,000 coins, making it the highest mintage for the year; and the San Francisco Mint S, mintmark, which produced only proof coins for collector sets, marking another historic change because 1968 was the first year proof coins were struck exclusively at San Francisco, not Philadelphia, with a proof mintage of around 3,041,506 coins featuring deep mirror-like fields and frosted devices. The 1968 quarter exists in two primary categories: circulation strikes P and D, and proof strikes S, with circulation examples widely used in daily commerce throughout the late 1960s, 1970s, and even beyond, while proof examples were sold directly to collectors and never intended for circulation, often preserved in protective plastic cases as part of annual proof sets. Economically, the shift from silver to clad metal meant that the intrinsic metal value of the quarter dropped drastically, ensuring that coins would remain in circulation rather than being hoarded for melt value. But at the same time, this change disappointed many collectors and silver investors who preferred precious metal coins, making early clad issues like 1968 the first generation of a completely new era of U.S. coinage. From a collector's standpoint, the 1968 quarter is considered common in circulated grades such as VG, very good, F, fine, and XF, extremely fine, and even in uncirculated condition it is not rare due to the extremely high mintages. But high-grade mint state examples graded Mississippi 66, Mississippi 67, or higher by professional services like PCGS and NGC can command significant premiums, especially if they exhibit strong luster, sharp strike, and minimal surface marks, while 1968's proof quarters, particularly those graded PR69 or PR70 deep cameo, are highly prized because of their visual beauty and pristine condition. Notable varieties of the 1968 quarter include die cracks, double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchettes, with proof coin cameo contrast variations being especially popular among specialists, though no major double die variety is as famous as those from earlier decades. Historically, the year 1968 itself was one of the most dramatic in American history, witnessing the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy, massive anti-war protests, and global upheaval. And all of this social tension was occurring while millions of freshly minted 1968 quarters passed through the hands of everyday Americans in grocery stores, gas stations, payphones, jukeboxes, buses, and vending machines, making the coin a true silent witness to momentous national transformation. Today, the market value of a normal circulated 1968 quarter remains close to face value due to its base metal composition, while uncirculated examples typically sell for a few dollars depending on quality, and high-grade certified or deep cameo-proof examples can range from tens to hundreds of dollars, depending on grading and eye appeal. From an educational standpoint, the 1968 quarter plays a crucial role in teaching new collectors about the difference between silver and clad coinage, the concept of mintmarks and proof strikes, and the historical importance of economic policy decisions on everyday objects. While for longtime collectors it marks the end of one age and the beginning of another, its design continuity ties it visually to the great silver quarters of the mid-20th century. Yet its metal composition symbolizes the realities of modern industrial economics, making the 1968 Washington quarter dollar not just a simple 25-cent piece but a powerful historical artifact that bridges the romantic silver era of American coins with the practical, mass-produced age of clad coinage that continues to this day. Next coin. The United States of America Washington quarter dollar dated 1988 is a deeply significant coin within the long-running history of the Washington quarter series because it represents a mature stage of modern clad coinage in the late Cold War era, produced during a time when the United States economy was stabilizing after the inflation crises of the 1970s and early 1980s and moving toward the technological and financial boom of the 1990s. Making the 1988 quarter not just a circulating coin but also a historical artifact of late 20th century American life. Like all Washington quarters of this period, the 1988 issue continues the iconic design first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, with the obverse featuring Washington's left-facing bust sculpted by John Flanagan, displaying the inscriptions, Liberty, across the top, In God We Trust, placed to the left of Washington's neck, and the date, 1988, to the right, while the reverse shows the traditional heraldic bald eagle with wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows symbolizing military readiness and national defense, and resting above a pair of olive branches that represent peace, with the inscriptions, United States of America, and E Pluribus Unum, above and the denomination, quarter dollar. Below, This same reverse design had been used continuously on business strike quarters since 1932 and would continue until its temporary replacement by the bicentennial reverse in 1975-1976 and finally its permanent retirement with the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. The 1988 quarter has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and is composed of a clad metal sandwich made of outer layers containing 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it the familiar silver-colored surface with a visible copper stripe along the edge. One of the most important educational features that helps collectors visually distinguish clad quarters from the earlier 90% silver quarters struck for circulation before 1965. The 1988 quarter was produced at 3 mints, each with its own identity and collector appeal. The Philadelphia Mint No Mint Mark struck approximately 596,810,000 coins, making it one of the highest mintage quarters of the decade and ensuring its availability across the nation. The Denver Mint D Mint Mark produced about 499,535,000 coins, also an extremely high figure that reflects the enormous demand for circulating coins during this busy economic period, and the San Francisco Mint S Mint Mark struck proof-only coins for collector sets with a mintage of around 3,262,948 proof quarters, available in both standard proof and later special high-quality collector formats preserved in protective cases. By 1988, proof coinage technology had reached a very advanced level, meaning that 1988's proof quarters are known for deep mirror-like fields and sharply frosted devices, creating strong cameo contrast that is highly prized by modern collectors, especially in grades such as PR69 and PR70 deep cameo. Historically, 1988 was a year defined by significant global change and technological progress, with the Cold War slowly moving toward its end, reforms occurring in the Soviet Union under Mikhail Gorbachev, the rise of personal computers and digital technology in American homes, and continued economic growth under the Reagan administration, and during this time millions of 1988 quarters flowed through everyday American life in supermarkets, laundromats, payphones, parking meters, arcades, public transportation systems, and vending machines, making the coin a constant companion of daily routine and a quiet witness to the lifestyle of the late 1980s. From a collector's perspective, the 1988 quarter is considered very common in circulated condition, with examples in grades such as good, fine, and extremely fine worth close to face value due to their enormous mintages and base metal composition, while uncirculated mint state coins graded MS63 to MS65 typically sell for modest premiums, often just a few dollars, depending on eye appeal, luster, and strike quality, but premium gem examples graded MS67 and above by major grading services can command significantly higher prices because such high-grade survivors are scarce relative to the hundreds of millions originally struck. The 1988's proof quarter, while not rare in general terms, becomes extremely valuable in top grades with perfect surfaces, especially when certified as PR70 deep cameo, where values can rise dramatically due to the intense competition among registry set collectors seeking flawless examples. Error collectors also search the 1988 quarter series for off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchettes, lamination errors, double-struck coins, weak strikes, and strike-through errors, all of which occurred naturally in the high-volume minting environment of the late 1980s and can bring strong premiums depending on severity and eye appeal. Although the 1988 quarter contains no silver and no intrinsic precious metal value beyond face value, it plays a very important role in American numismatic education because it represents the fully modern phase of U.S. coin production, with high-speed presses, quality control systems, and mass production on an unprecedented scale. demonstrating how coins transitioned from being both money and metal value to being primarily fiat currency backed by government trust rather than precious metals. Culturally, the 1988 quarter also symbolizes a world just before enormous transformation, as within little more than a decade the United States quarter would become the centerpiece of the largest circulating commemorative coin program in world history with the State Quarter series, forever changing how the public interacted with coins and inspiring millions of children and adults to become collectors for the first time. For today's collectors and historians, the 1988 Washington quarter therefore serves as a bridge between traditional classic U.S. coinage and the modern commemorative era, embodying late 20th century industrial efficiency, economic confidence, and mass circulation, while also preserving the timeless image of George Washington and the American bald eagle that had defined the quarter for more than 6 decades, making this seemingly ordinary 25-cent coin a powerful symbol of continuity, stability, and national identity in everyday American life.